Hello guys, today I'm going to give you some insight into the amazing Canon combination of the R5 and the RF 100-500 lens. I have been fortunate to be on assignment in northern Zimbabwe in Mana Pools National Park for Wild Expressions photo tours and safaris, and fortunately Canon South Africa have given me the opportunity to properly field test the combination of the R5 and 100-500. Since the R6 and R5 came out in July 2020, I have had the opportunity to shoot with a number of lenses, a number of combinations, specifically more with the 100-400 Mark II through the adapter on the R5 and R6, but this is the first time that I've managed to exclusively use the 100-500 as my main lens combination on safari. So from a start, I think anybody who knows Mana Pools, if you don't know, click on the link below and we can learn a little bit more about the area. But you do a lot of walking safaris where you are out of the vehicle on foot. So the first thing which was really impressive was the weight of the camera and the body. Really easy, light, flexible to carry, move around when you are sitting on the ground or you're lying down for low-level shots. Secondly, the megapixels for shooting any smaller stuff or birds, incredible to be able to crop. The focus system, which Canon revolutionized for wildlife photographers when they brought out the eye tracking focus for animals, etc. Yeah, it's still far better than any other that I've come across when speaking to other photographers. And lastly, the ISO of the camera is pretty spectacular. When you're on foot and you're walking back to the vehicle, it's low light in the afternoons in the albedo forest. You have to rely on getting a fast enough shutter speed, and I found a combination of the ISO, pushing it, I don't have a problem pushing ISO, but these were 6400 and 12800 ISO, and the image stabilizer combination with the R5 body and the RF lens was just spectacular. I found that moving around, not a problem at all shooting from the vehicle. The zoom range of 100-500 opened up a huge opportunity for me to be able to walk and compose and move around and not have to lug 4 or 5 lenses plus a tripod, etc., with me. In saying that, it is winter here in Zimbabwe, so bird photography is not sort of the main aspect. We focus a lot on the elephants and the painted dog, the African wild dog. We also have buffalo, we also have lion, and occasionally a leopard. That's more the rarity than it is something that's common. So we had the opportunity to field test it with a lot of other animals as well, not normally what you would associate with the big 5 or big 4 safari in South Africa. My wife Caroline took 61 bird species, of which we photograph a number, and the 45 megapixels came in handy there to be able to crop in and make sure that we could record the birds. Especially a new one for me was a Arnott's chat, and so I have a nice record shot of the Arnott's chat. I did try the video functions, and I'm not a big videographer, but I did battle a little bit with setting it up and so on. But again, I assume that a lot of people who use the R5 for video will have a better understanding than I do. And to quell any questions, I had no overheating issues here in the wilderness. I carried spare batteries to make sure that when I'm on foot I didn't have any issues having to walk back to a vehicle. It's very user friendly from the menu point of view. So yeah, it has been an incredible all-round piece of equipment for me to use. Canon have again made sure that image quality is still incredible with the 100-500 lens. I've seen people say that the bokeh is not good enough, the ability to focus in low light. Guys, don't believe everything here on the internet. Maybe not what I have to say either, but I have images which I can show you and share the experiences with you, which I will do later, just to say to you that this is an incredible opportunity and combination to be able to use in Africa on a safari. I've really enjoyed it, but I think what's more important is let me show you in a series of image reviews what the camera is actually capable of. So off we go. Let me show you a couple of images, I'll discuss them, and we can move on from there. There you have it. I hope you really enjoyed that. If you have any questions on the camera, the lens, or specifically monopools and how to join me on Safari, please feel free to drop me a line in the link below. Also, as important for us, grow our channel, please. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and copy and share this on your favorite social media platform, and even to your friends via WhatsApp or Twitter or Facebook. Thanks very much for your time, and look out for more in the series of this incredible adventure to monopools. Well, I'm back in studio, and I've got a few images here we can run through just to give you some basics on some of the issues that I've come across on the web, and things that I thought I should point out. I'm not going to edit these photos, that I'll do in a separate tutorial, but I've just randomly chosen a few to highlight some of the points of discussion. So I've got it here in DPP4, and I've selected the images. I put them in a sort of a collection at the bottom, a bookmark collection. Yeah, histogram over here, you can see it looks a little bit sort of in the middle, but I'm pretty easy. I'll bring back the shadows there and balance it a little bit. So here's a pied kingfisher. They move very fast, so we'll just comment on the tracking, straight on the button, no problem at all, and it looks very good. The next image again is also a Bateleur eagle or short-tailed eagle. Yeah, the focus didn't grab the head here, it shifted off to the wing. You can see the point of contrast, but I'm happy with the tracking that it picks it up, and the bokeh is not too bad, simply because it's a heat haze. A lot of people have said you get terrible bokeh with the f7.1 of the 100-500, but for me, unedited, this is very easy, and we all know there's tricks of the trade to make the background a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, but for being in the field, perfect for me. Here we have an eland bull. This was after dark, very low light. I didn't even bother to try and pick up the head here. I just tried to find a piece of contrast to see if the camera would pick it up in the low light, and then you can see the pickup there with the focus point. There wasn't a problem at all. Next image, yeah, here's a campfire scene, shot on manual, and picked up the focus there on the chair arm. I actually manually focused on here with the touchscreen at the back. I didn't use the animal eye tracking or eye tracking. I just wanted to show you that push and focus also works. Lovely exposure, detail throughout the entire frame. With the blacks, you can't maybe see it on the screen, but this was a commercial shot for the lodge, and yeah, happy with it. Stars came out, guests sat nice and still, so you can see focusing in low light, and also very good dynamic range for me. Here's a similar evening shot of the dining area out in monopools. Just some more marketing, but you can see the stars, and you can see very good dynamic range. Yeah, so we get, people have told me as well with backlighting and these cameras battle to focus and hunt. I've got a series of images. I just chose this one. Elephant bull walked straight towards me in serious backlighting with dust, and it managed to pick up the contrasting area here on the bull. Let me see if I can just zoom in for you. There we go, it's rendering, but you can see really nice, sharp, everything's good there on the Ellie. Next one, chose to focus on the area of contrast here, but again, very strong backlight. The elephant was in the shadow, so it easily picked up that point of focus. So here we have an LE in very low light. It still managed to pick up the focus on the side of the head, on the eye, and if you let it render here, it takes a little bit of time. You'll see that this is pin sharp. So the focusing in low light, backlighting, still very, very good. And with this image, there's also a decent dynamic range where there's detail all the way through. So we'll be able to do that and edit it. Again, here's a elephant in very low light. Managed to pick up the LE, sharp as a dart, no problem. Again, depth of field, I get told, battles to show a nice bokeh. Here's a rock python on the ground. I laid down flat while it was moving towards me. It picked up the eye. Not just animals, and you can see the incredible depth of field in the bokeh that this has created. And for f7.1 lens, yeah, at 7.1, I don't think there's too many arguments about this with the incredible bokeh that it showed. I know it's a little bit underexposed, but I was shooting in the shadows, and I just wanted a slightly faster shutter speed. Birds, yeah, bee eater, lovely background. As I said, for an f7.1 lens, this is really, really impressive bokeh. And in Photoshop or whatever your editing software is, there's so many tricks. You can just add a bit of blur to this if you really wanted to. If you're a purist and want to argue with me, that's fine. You lug your huge heavy prime lens around on foot for 5 hours a day for 6 days, and then we talk about who's what, where and how. But for me, this 100-500 was a completely versatile and perfect lens for shooting in monopools. Here again, basically sun had already set. Animal eye tracking grabbed this line. There was no problem at all. I was shooting at, I think, 1/40th of a second, handheld on the ground, out of the vehicle. One of the advantages of monopools, we do walking safaris, and this was quite safe. Our friend Steve, the safari guide and camp director, was with us, so we didn't have any problems. You can zoom in there. Again, this is an unrendered raw file, so you know, please don't judge too much out of it. Yeah, we've got that one, and then we've got one which is even later. You can see even darker, and Steve had dropped his rifle bag, and the lion didn't like the unnecessary movement, so it gave us a little beady-eyed stare. So remember, we're looking at this in DPP. Whenever you want to evaluate images, I must be very honest with you, please don't use any other software like Lightroom, Infinity, On1. There's so many. If you want to get a true reflection of your image quality, your image dynamic range, and so on, look at it in Canon Digital Photo Professional. It's the free software Canon give you with your camera, or you download from the internet, and it's Canon technology. So I'll try here quickly. I have a recipe which basically let me just go out of here. We can go edit image. Where is the image? It's in my collection still. We can go to this bottom one, and if you look here, you'll see the rendering at the bottom here, the right hand side, the little wheel of death. So I've developed a sort of a recipe, or a preset if you may. I've added the lens corrections. This, I know I said we'll talk about a bit of development, but basically you know, I go and I add all of these corrections, the technical corrections that Canon make available for you for your lenses and your bodies and so on. So we'll just go here, edit, read recipe, and paste from there. I've got mono low light, so you can have a look while this renders. There we've got pretty a little underexposed, and then while it's rendering at the bottom here, it'll pop beautiful colors. So there we go, and that is no exposure increasing. That's just gloss. Oh, hang on, let me just check. Yeah, no exposure increasing. I used the auto gamut for the little bit. All it did was add shadows, take a bit of highlights, and it's pretty magnificent. Yes, there is noise in the image,
This was taken at ISO 12800, but people that know me will realize noise is irrelevant. I'd rather get a sharp shot, get a shot, and then worry about that later. People are still too obsessed in today's day and age with noise and ISO. You know, if you want to be that technical photographer, rather lasso this lion, take him to the studio, use studio lights and shoot him. Otherwise, get on the ground, wait till the sun's gone down, low shutter speed, great image stabilization with the R5 and the 100-500, and you can create images like this. And in post-processing, just correct some of the technical issues that there might be from Canon giving you the lens shooting information, the peripheral illumination, distortion. I've got sharpness set on 4 here, which is the standard. You know, it might look a little bit chunky now. It's going to take a little bit to render with the noise. But as I said, you know, it's not an image development software per se. This is just a raw processor for Canon. And as you know, with anything, for any application, whether it be Facebook, whether it be your website, whether it be printing, whatever it is, you have to still develop the image as needed. So in a nutshell, guys, that's my findings on the Canon R5 and the 100-500 RF F4.5 to F7.1. I think it's an absolutely incredible piece of glass for what I used it for. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. As always, if you'd like to subscribe and give it a thumbs up, it does help me. And then also in the link below, you'll find details to Monopool's safari or wilderness travel, the packages that Wild Expressions offer. And finally, you can also go and buy me a coffee, become a subscriber, and get more detailed information on how I edit my images, how images are shot. It's only $5 a month, and every little bit helps me carry on my creative journey. But thanks very much, guys, and until next time, cheers.